New teams into the SPFL. Are we looking at Kelty Hearts, Brora Rangers, or Rangers and Celtic Colt sides? Alright lads, welcome back to another video, and this one is going to be talking about a potential new team coming to the SPFL, or new teams coming to the SPFL next season. Obviously, the usual way that this ends up going in normal seasons is that one of the Lowland League or Highland League sides gets the chance to compete in a playoff with the League 2 side, the team that finished bottom of League 2, to battle it out to reach the SPFL or stay in the SPFL the following season. Now, of course, last season was a bit of an anomaly because Brecon City did not have to compete in a playoff due to the early season and whatever. They avoided any sort of relegation worries, meaning that Kelty Hearts and Brora Rangers, the respective winners of both the Lowland League and the Highland League, basically missed out on the chance that they wanted coming into the season by winning the respective leagues, albeit early. Now, we find ourselves in a very similar situation this season, of course, with coronavirus still here and still everything being a bit up in the air. Will the season finish early? We all hope not, of course. We don't want another scenario like the end of last season because, let's be honest, that was just a bit of shambles. But it doesn't stop the question of, will there be new team or teams entering into the SPFL in next season? I really hope there will be, aside from the fact that I do have a very soft spot for Brecon, but I also have a bit of a knot in my belly about how it all finished last season and the fact that it's a bit unfair for teams like Kelty Hearts and Brora Rangers to go through a season clearly being the best team in their respective division and not being able to get their rightful place in any sort of playoff, whether that be obviously against each other, to then go on to face the team that finished bottom of League 2, which was Brecon last season. It currently is still Brecon. They sit bottom of League 2 at the moment, with teams like Albion Rovers and Cowdenbeath also joining them at the bottom of the league. Not any of them really being on good form and not any of them looking that great, but Brecon are certainly shipping goals like they have been for years and years now, and it doesn't look like changing, even though they're bringing in loads of players. Michael Payton is taking charge as a player manager. I think he was offered a 2 or 3 year deal. He's been bringing in players such as Jerry McLaughlin back to the club and David Hutton to try and steer the ship back round in the second half of the season. It's yet to be seen if that will happen. As I said, Albion Rovers and Cowdenbeath are only a few points ahead of them, so it may not be Brecon at the end of the season that finishes bottom, but at this very present moment, it is. In terms of the Lowland League, Kelty Hearts sit top of that league, just like they did at the end of last season where they won the division. BSC Glasgow sit just below them, and then below that it's Bonnyrigg Rose and East Kilbride. So there's a wee bit of a battle up there. Kelty Hearts, I think, as I said, I think it's like 6 or 7 points to East Kilbride and Bonnyrigg Rose, with a couple of those teams having games in hand, etc. So it is a wee bit up in the air, but Kelty Hearts do look like the favourites to go on and win the league title once again in the Lowland League. Brora Rangers were the winners of the Highland League last season, which is one of the leagues that's going to be very short this season because it only started at the end of November. So they currently have a 100% record, along with Fraserburgh having won 3 out of their possible 3 games, and a couple of teams below them have won 2 out of 2 games and they've still got a game left to play in hand. So it's all very tight up the top end of that league, but once again you would imagine Brora Rangers to eventually cater their way up to first in the table, or at least challenging around those areas. So which team would I be backing in a playoff to defeat, let's say, Brecon City to come into League 2 next season? Now, I've always followed Kelty Hearts. They're obviously far more local to me than Brora Rangers. I live in basically central Scotland, so Kelty Hearts is far more suitable for me to travel to see any games if I can possibly get to them. Back in the days when it was Tam Coates as their manager, I was following Kelty Hearts quite regularly because their games kicked off at 2 PM when they were in the juniors, and then when they joined the East of Scotland League, and they were winning things left, right and centre. There's even videos on the channel where I've followed Kelty Hearts games, and there was some team back then, and it was a great time to follow Kelty Hearts, even if it was just sporadically when it fitted around Dunfermline games, etc. So I have kind of got a tiny wee soft spot for Kelty Hearts, and obviously they're local to my club Dunfermline as well, so there's that wee link to go with it as well. However, that doesn't mean I'm discrediting Brora Rangers, because they did win their league on merit last season by having a better points tally than the rest of the division, and they were just as unjustly treated as Kelty Hearts were, and I don't want to see that happen again this season. I really want the seasons to all pan out fairly, playoffs get played, and teams are rightfully relegated, promoted, etc, etc. To answer the question of this video, which team will be joining the SPFL next season, in my opinion, in my humble and honest opinion, I think it'll be Kelty Hearts. Now, yes, it's probably a tad biased. I haven't seen Brora Rangers. I don't really know their squad. I know Kelty Hearts squad. I've seen them play. I've got a wee bit of soft spot, as I already said, so it is slightly biased. But I do think Kelty Hearts have the squad to be able to come up into League 2 and really perform well. There's a lot of ambitious clubs in the Lowland League and the Highland League, and I don't see any reason why they can't come into the League 2 and perform well and get up into League 1 within a few seasons at the very least. However, it has been a bit blown up in the air just recently, as of I think this morning, where there was a couple of online reports going around that Rangers and Celtic were going to try and bring their Colt sides back into the scenario with the R word, reconstruction. No! You just have nightmares when you hear that word, eh? Now, we all know how reconstruction went back in, I don't know, March, April, into May, into June. It took ages, it took months to finally get to the end of the scenario. Don't see any positive way that this can impact Scottish football. Nobody that I've seen wants Colt sides in the SPFL, and they don't want them just being given a free buy into League 2. So I don't see any way that this happens, especially because I think League 2 clubs as well have kind of shunned the idea aside. So I don't see a reason why this one will ever go through, just like the multiple reconstruction plans that have been prior to this one. I just don't see it, and I think it would be a pretty negative move on the whole for Scottish football. So there's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video if you enjoy it. As I said, comment below your thoughts on the reconstruction plans for one. And do you think there will be a team that joins the SPFL next season at the expense of a team like Brecon, Cowdenbeath or Albion Rovers, the teams that are currently at the bottom of League 2? Subscribe for more of this type of content, and until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers guys.